Hey everybody, I am on for the midweek message reveal Wednesday, July 10th. Welcome to the energy this week. We have Cancer season, we are deep in it, and we are surely here to switch over into Leo season soon, as well as encountering the second full moon in Capricorn, which is really interesting because that does not normally happen. We had one last month as well. And this extra sort of moon vibe energy that is tied directly to Cancer season, as it is the ruler of Cancer, the moon. There is a real feeling of almost like a blanket of emotion that comes in waves at times, where you can feel, at times it feels, the blanket feels comforting and warm. It feels like a nice healthy weight that lets you sleep and feel like you are protected and sheltered. And at times that same blanket is itchy and scratchy and too heavy and hot. And it feels like it's too much and it's overwhelming and constricting, suffocating. And that is very much the push-pull energy that I have been intuiting and feeling myself, and hearing from clients, that I feel personally that it's not just the planets that are in transit, as well as the retrogrades that we have, especially with Saturn. I think that it has a lot to do with the solar weather that we're experiencing, on top of just record weirdness across the board in our landscapes as humans, and the places in which we compartmentalize our lives, and the structures around our lives and the rules around our lives are up for debate for a lot of us, in some way or another, whether you are everyone is dealing with something. And I think the general feeling of uncertainty, that it's its own flavor after COVID, y'all. It's different. It's different. It's different because things happen that we didn't think we could have happened, and we're on the other side of that. So now the stuff that we're considering, things like this can't happen, or won't happen, or could happen, or couldn't happen, seem maybe in a different way, have a little different flavor of I'm not sure impossibility around it, possible impossibility. And I think that squeamish sort of, I don't really know because this is territory we haven't experienced before, is exactly the whole freaking point. This is stuff we've never experienced before. We're talking across, this is astrological weather and solar weather we've never experienced before as a planet. We're going through a photon belt that you just never fucking go through. It's a technical way of explaining it. That you never fucking go through it. Whatever the true physicist language around whatever that means. You know, it's that kind of stuff that's happening now. We have transits we've never experienced before. We don't know what this looks like. Or there's stuff that the only marker that we have connected to some of these transits is that shit went down in these places, or there were major things happening. So the feeling of is palpable, everyone. And I am a realist. So you have to kind of ground yourself in the possibility of what is real. And we do get to decide that for ourselves as we create our own reality. But just like I say, you know, like, I can sit here and channel aliens all day long, but someone still has to do the dishes or scrub the toilet. And I feel that that's the flavor of who I bring. And I feel that that's the type of guidance when it's asked of me that I hope I deliver. And that's what I hope to do weekly. And that's why I show up here, because I know there are a lot of people that just don't participate, but they're watching and they're seeing things. And I'm just saying, I see you guys. And the path of the cards this week, I chose to use a deck that's very vague. And I prefer vague because I don't necessarily use the cards anyways, as most of you know who have followed me before and been with me for a while. But I'm leaning more into an open sort of channeling, and I feel that these cards allow me to do that as well. So stay tuned for some things with midweek message to maybe kind of shift a little bit because I'm feeling experimental. All right. So I'm going to jump into the cards. Nice transition. Here we go. All right. If you chose one, your card is space. And you're like, hey, Kel, that's a blank ass card. You're right. It is. The concept of space for you, one, it's frustrating because you've been seeking out space in several ways. You've been looking for space for yourself. You've been looking for a way for you to have some room to breathe. Space, your bubble, your own personal physical space. That has been a shift where some of you have had to kind of relinquish some space that you may have had that was solely yours, or you've had to downgrade or minimize or considering minimizing, or have had to take on stuff that wasn't yours, and the energy of said stuff is heavy. And remember, what you own owns you, which is why you feel so good when you tidy up or you give stuff away. So there's space there, and there's some cleaning that you can do in that, in a sense, and will make you feel energetically better. True. The other space is you're really kind of contemplating where you fit, because you don't feel like you take up the same space that you used to. And this is where you are the entity that makes the void no longer a void, that fills the void. This also is asking some of you in one to consider where you forget that there was space. And this is in an interpersonal sense, and in somewhat a relationship way, and in somewhat a close relationship, like could be within a family circle unit as well, sense that you are ignoring the space in between and filling in the gaps for someone else, excusing behavior, or allowing or perpetuating a story that may not be true, or is one that's easier to tell because it's uncomfortable, the truth of it, or seeking out further information about it might be hard to do, or it's something you just don't feel like doing, or maybe you're not sure how to go about that, and thinking about it gives you anxiety. That was a lot. So I feel you on that one. If you need to talk to somebody about this is my wheelhouse, okay? Just throwing that out there. But the space that you're requiring and the space that you're seeking, it's hard to find, because there's an aspect of you, there's a part of you within that is asking for that space and that attention from you. That the time that you take, that you feel when you need a break, I need a this, I need a that. And you try to, soothe yourself in different ways and still find yourself feeling that sense of lack or scarcity in that need for space, or need for your cup filled up, or whatever space lacking feels like to you. It's because you miss you. A part of you misses your own attention and is asking you to make space for yourself, through some self-reflection, through some self-care, through just sitting down for 5 minutes and putting your hand over your heart and saying, hey, sorry I haven't checked in a minute, what do we need? And just waiting and seeing what happens. Even if it's just for 5 minutes. Even if it's just for 30 seconds. Okay? That's what you guys. Everything's cool. You just forgot where you were for a minute. And that happens. All right, 2. If you chose 2, your card is hunger. I just see a yoke. And hunger, in a sense, like space. Hunger, we automatically think it's food. For me, this feels more like desire. This feels like hunger in a sense of a wanting and a yearning. And it is coming in the sense of the yellow solar plexus, which is right above the belly button, above the navel. and it is the powerhouse where we get our sense of self and we know who we are and our truth. And you are ready to stand up and say something about what's going on about you, with you. Whether it's an opinion that you have, or it's something that you want to declare, or there's a change you want to make, or there's just to hear your own voice in a space that maybe doesn't get to hear it enough. You're ready to speak up, and you are hungry for the opportunity. So this is going to require you to be a little bit more social. There's going to be more opportunities for you to be more social. There's going to be more opportunities for you to do volunteering, or even like some sort of assistance. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a legit thing. It could be helping a neighbor, but it's going to be an act of service that's going to get you more into a space where you're going to feel more free to express this part of yourself. And this hunger is met through the service that you have with others, through the relationships that you cultivate with other people, and through the energy exchange of showing up for another human in need and being the one who can give the help is such a wonderful feeling that it does sort of quell that hunger within. Also, hunger, conversely, when we're talking about the solar plexus, there's a real desire, and I can like smell and taste citrus. There's a real lemony sort of citrus vibe that's coming through that I'm like smelling and tasting. So there may be a desire. Maybe you're wanting more citrusy fruits, or seeking out something that's got more acidity or more vitamin C, or maybe you're feeling a need to detox. And all of this, please, I am not a medical practitioner. This is just an energetic feeling that I have, and this will aid in the digestion issues that you might be having. You are receiving downloads, and this downloading that is happening is causing the upset in sleep, is causing the feeling of being like energetic at the wrong times, and also feeling that brain fog that's happening, and like the weird munchies, and then the nothing, and then the nausea. So if you're experiencing any of that kind of stuff, a lot of this just has to do with you getting recalibrated. But as I said, again, I am not a medical professional, so if you are feeling ill, please seek out help and know that that is not me. Okay. All right, last one, 3. If you are 3, your card is growth. So I'm drawn to the sun behind the flower. That's very obvious. And the color green connecting to the heart chakra, the anatta. And the heart chakra is where you are experiencing 3, an expansion in your capacity to have compassion for yourself. And it's having compassion for yourself through the guise of the way that other people see you. You're more aware of how you are perceived by others, and it's almost as if the way that you have acquired this knowledge of this perception of other people is through your ability to kind of hold back a little bit. You're holding back on judgment. You're holding back on making assumptions. You're holding back on action at times. You're holding back on speaking. You're thinking and listening and feeling more into situations, and that is where the true growth is coming through. And here I see nothing but the sun. I see the solar plexus. I see the solar self that is beaming forward and saying, yeah, I am a formidable piece of material, like as a plant, as something that has grown from a seed, an idea, a concept, a spark. And from this grows the nurturing and the changes that come with moving it from a seed into a full-on plant, right? And here you are out in the basking in the sun of your truth, and you're right on track is essentially what it is. I can't get it out of my mouth. It's like, oh, there's just a lot of excitement behind it. There's a lot of real positive energy, and you should really be proud of yourselves. Your team's very proud of you. They're very excited about the fact that you're getting it. And it's not that it's for lack of trying. It's not that you did anything to not get it, or all of a sudden you're like, duh, I got it now. It's not like that. It's more like you don't know what you don't know until you know, and now you know. And you're ready to move forward and do something with the energy that comes with that knowing. And at the same time, you should be super proud of yourself because you've done the work and you've started to see that you participate in everything that happens in your life. And that if you want something to change, that you have to figure out how you're inhibiting perhaps that change. And that's just rinse, repeat. Okay? Would love to hear how this lands for you, so please leave me some feedback. Would love to work with you. I have lots of options on my website, and I'm also working on another option where we are doing something a little more custom. So please, if you're interested in that, reach out at my website here, and I would love to talk to you about that. Make sure you're following me on your socials so you are reminded when I'm going live or when I'm on, and know that I really appreciate your support. So thank you for tagging and sharing and for referring friends and clients and all of that good stuff. I really appreciate you. All right, have an awesome weekend. Peace.